Hello. So I was super excited when Alex approached me to make a self-love journey video for First Love Yourself. I've been friends with Alex and Holly for a while, so I was super excited, and I'm so impressed with all the work they're doing. But here's a little bit of my self-love journey. I think that my self-love journey started very young, and I don't think I realized it until about high school, but I always had compared myself to my older brother, my older sister, my older cousins, and just had always kind of seen myself as not good enough as they were, even though that wasn't true. And it took me a while to realize that I thought that. And then when I got into middle school is kind of where my self-esteem took a drop. Middle school is just hard for everybody. But I would look in the mirror and I would not see anything positive. And I couldn't get past it. And then through high school, kind of the same thing. It got a little more dangerous. I had fits of not eating and all that. But luckily I was able to stay healthy and stay away from those kinds of dangers for the most part. And then when I started to realize, okay, I need to like myself more, I would look for the approval and attention from others in order to show myself that I deserve the attention, which then I realized is not how to love yourself. You have to first, the nonprofit says, you have to first love yourself, and I would let other people be like, no, Jessie, you are beautiful, and you are awesome, and you do have a great personality. And then I would be able to say okay, yeah, maybe I do have a good personality and that kind of stuff. But I would always make someone else say it first, which I realized is not the way to do it. And then through college, I had it was very much a roller coaster going along with things in my life. And I think that the big unfortunate turn of events where I realized that I had to take care of myself in order to love myself is after I lost my dad in December of 2012. And I kind of realized in the months following that I was not really taking care of myself, just because I was so drowned in grief, of course, from losing my dad, that I realized that I had to take care of myself and I had to kind of look for the positives. And in talking to people after that and kind of saying I'm living miserable every single day because I look in the mirror and I hate what I see. But I kind of realized that, life is too short. And I know that's very cliche, but, losing my dad when I was only 19, I was wait, life's too short for me to be standing here in the mirror for 20 minutes criticizing myself in my mind. And I always... And even, during those months that followed me losing my dad, I spent all of my time looking to bring other people up. I focused not as much on making myself happy. And I came across on the clothing, wear your label, it says self-love isn't selfish. And I think for a long time I thought it was. And then when I was able to, probably in the last year or so, kind of just turn around. And I think, for me, a big turn in my self-love journey was realizing that I could love things about myself that I didn't see in the mirror. And that was really hard because I told myself that I couldn't love myself unless I was happy with my body, and I never thought that I was going to be. So in my mind, that I would never be happy and I would never be able to love myself. But then when I really started thinking, I love that I'm very musical, and I love that, I can get along with anybody. And that was a big thing for me to start loving myself, was to realize that, hey, there's more than meets the eye. I can love myself because, I can talk to anybody. I make friends everywhere I go. I talk to everybody in public. And that was a big thing for me. And I think taking care of myself was the biggest turning point in my self-love journey. This past summer, I was officially diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and depression. And I was able to go on medication. And that was a big thing because I went on medication for me. And I did it so I could feel better. And I didn't do it so it would affect anybody else. I just did it for me. And that was really big. And I think that realizing that I needed to put myself first was the biggest part in learning to love myself. And I know before I started dating my current boyfriend, when we were still just talking, I kind of stopped one day and I was like, wait, like, I deserve to be with someone that is going to, love me and care about me and make me happy. And that's when, I'm glad that I was able to push myself forward and, have that tough conversation. And we ended up starting dating. But it was because I realized that I deserved it. I deserved a relationship and I deserved good friendships. And I think that realizing that, you're awesome. And I think that I just had to tell myself sometimes, like, hey, Jessie, you're awesome. And that was really tough for me because I would still look in the mirror and not necessarily like what I saw. But I realized that that's not the important part. I was given my body for a reason. I'm lucky to be in pretty good health. And that should be what matters more than, oh, well, I don't really like that I have a tummy. But I realized that in the general scheme of things, that's not the most important thing to worry about. I have amazing friends, and I have a full-time job and a place to live, and I tell myself sometimes, when I'm having those rough days, I just look in the mirror and I'm like, Jessie, you're awesome. And that's just what it was. And I really, for a long time, I was like, well, I can't just tell myself I'm awesome because that's so conceited. But it's not. You deserve to tell yourself you're awesome and doing little things. Like, I love doing fun colors to my hair because I think it makes me happy and it makes me look in the mirror and be like, wow, this is awesome. So now my hair is teal. But being able to just, look at my self-love journey is not over, and I don't think it'll ever be over. But the biggest thing about my story was realizing one day that it's more than just what you look like. And I'd be lying if I said that I still don't have days where I struggle a lot with, thinking about, oh my God, do I look fat in this? Because I do, but I'm lucky that those days are not as often as they used to be. And I'm now a lot more open with sharing my story. And I think that, in the past couple years, after going on a leadership retreat during my undergrad, I kind of realized that if I could share my story, maybe I could help other people. And sharing my story made me feel like I was empowered by it. So yeah, I really struggled with my self-image and I really struggled. But one day I told myself, you know what, Jessie, you're freaking awesome. And that was the biggest thing for me to be able to do. And although I had some really tough times, I'm thankful for those times where, I couldn't bring myself to eat, or I couldn't bring myself to get out of bed or look in the mirror just because I had hated myself so much. And I think I'm so thankful for those moments because it brought me to this moment where, I get dressed in the morning and I'm like, you know what? I look great, and I'm not going to wear something that doesn't look great. And I think that, trying things on in dressing rooms is very much a trigger and an anxiety thing, but it went from, oh my God, this doesn't fit me, why does this fit me, to I'm not going to spend money on something that doesn't make me look as awesome as I can. And, this is just a good day where I'm like, yeah, I'm great and I'm beautiful, but there are definitely days that I still, I still struggle and I still change my outfit 12 times because I don't think I look good in any of it. But I think the biggest thing about your self-love journey, if I could, tell anybody else, is that find something that you love about yourself and just run with it. I love that I'm friendly, and I just ran with it, and I was able to let it fuel me to be happier and start to love everything about myself if I could just find one thing. And I think that the scariest moment was saying, and I think it was during that really tough time of grief after losing my dad, was someone said, like, okay, tell me 5 things that you love about yourself, and I couldn't think of any. And then I kind of told myself, and I was like, this isn't healthy. You can't spend your whole life. You're given one body. What you choose to do with it is your own, but you're given one body and one life, and you need to make the best of it. And, I'm 22, and I'm far away from officially really just loving myself, but I'm happy because for me, I look back at that little girl who was scared to get on a scale at 10 years old and I realized that that's not what it was about. And now I can, make jokes and talk to people and, look in the mirror and look at my hair and be like, wow, this is awesome. Or like, wow, this dress looks great. And that's been really the biggest thing for me. So it's an everyday process, and every day before I go to bed, I think about, what, today I'm really happy that I did X, Y, and Z, and that's been a big part of my self-love journey, is realizing that I'm awesome, and there's a lot more than meets the eye. And everyone is beautiful in their own way, inside and out, and beauty is so much more than what's just on the skin. So thank you for, it's a very, I didn't take notes or anything, so it's I'm sure I talked in a lot of circles, but thank you, Fly, for letting me show how I first loved myself and for letting me share a little bit of my story.